Okay, so I'm in Computer Art 2, which means I created all my art digitally. And to do that, I used a Wacom tablet, Photoshop, and a little bit of Illustrator. My main goal for the class was to create a bunch of characters for the story I've been planning to write for the past few months. Although my original intentions never changed, my style did, and I ended up finding a method for creating digital art that I really liked. For the first checkpoint, my main goal was to find a way of using Photoshop that worked for me. My first few attempts, which were a bunch of doodles I put in my sketchbook, ended up looking like a 4-year-old made them, aka the opposite of what I wanted. Then I tried a few where I started with the black outlines, but they were too wobbly in Photoshop because I did not have a steady enough hand. After that, I did the coloring first, which had a lot of potential, but I had the idea of giving the pictures black outlines the entire time, and they were what ruined it each time I tried. Anyway, Mr. Cook eventually suggested that I do the black outlines in Illustrator so they were automatically smoother, and this was the result. At this point, we were at the second checkpoint, and I was happy to finally have a good method to start creating my characters. My main inspiration for this checkpoint was an artist named Pygmy Louie, who I followed on Tumblr forever. She does simplistic character designs that have black outlines, which was exactly what I wanted to do. For my first character, a red-haired pyromancer, I pretty much copied her style, which of course is a bad thing to do, but I wanted to figure out how to draw well in Photoshop before I made up my own style. Anyway, I ended up doing the black outlines in Illustrator and the coloring in Photoshop. With this method, I made 3 characters. The first 8 turned out decently, but after that I began to realize that this was not the style I wanted to do anymore. It still looked bad, in my opinion, compared to some of this amazing digital art that I was seeing online. So I decided to look for a different method, now that I was more familiar with Photoshop and Illustrator. My inspiration for the next 2 pieces were from an artist I found on Instagram called Punziella. She made the digital art without the black outlines that were, in my eyes, ruining my artwork. Her pieces were much cuter and smoother than mine, and I aspired to make art like hers for the final checkpoint. So, I took the last drawing I did, this one, and I redid it without the black outlines. For this method, I didn't use Illustrator at all, but just Photoshop since I was only using the paintbrush tool and Multiply. Anyway, I finally finished my first piece after about a week of working on it, and this was the result. It, in my opinion, was much better than my first few, and I was actually proud of the way it looked. After it was finished, I started designing another character using this method, but I never got the chance to finish it. But here's how far I got with it. As you can see, I learned a lot about creating digital art and found a method that I really enjoyed using. Although I'm obviously not even close to being a professional digital artist, I really loved working with a medium I wasn't used to. I think that I did the best I could have possibly done in this class and produced a good amount of art that I thought was done to the best of my ability. So, thank you so much for listening to my overview of Computer Art 2, and good luck to whoever has to present next.